It's Electric Football Week 2. That's Stu, which rhymes with two, and we're going to talk some football. So,
That's Steve, by the way.
yeah, just busted through the bone, just busted the bone through the skin. Nothing bad, just tape it up. J.J. Watt is a freaking monster. There's a bone poking through his skin, and he just tapes his fingers together and tries to tackle people with them.
I do that.
That's insanity. And that's the
Oh, no,
kind
I
of...
pass out.
Yeah. I have a freaking cold for 5 weeks. I can't even get rid of that. He's taping. Now, yeah, they gave up 10 sacks to the Jaguars. They're probably on their knees begging Dwayne Brown to come in. But Cincinnati caked their pants.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to take Deshaun Watson forever. The Tom Savage era was lovely and wonderful while it lasted, but it only lasted a half.
Yeah.
It lasted slightly longer than the Brock Osweiler era. They appear to be the Browns. The Texans are the new Browns when it comes to just discarding quarterbacks.
Yep.
Stu.
One team I got right. I got the Bengals to lose, and one team I got wrong. I had the Texans to win, and that didn't work out too well. Both teams laid an egg, both on offense and on defense. So I'm strictly taking the home team. I got nothing to add because at this point I can't tell what Houston is yet. They need a quarterback, but I am taking the home team just based on weapons on offense.
By the way, because of our shitty production values, that may look like a 93 shirt, but that is a Larry Zonka shirt. And if you didn't love Larry Zonka, you didn't love football.
That's true.
Or hunting. Or nearly dying in a hunting accident.
Or leaving the Dolphins for the WFL.
All right. And then, but, Larry Zonka was John Riggins before John Riggins was John Riggins.
That's true.
Anyway, Browns
Ravens.
at Ravens. Browns are one of those teams that can take a lot of pride in, hey, we almost won a game, and they're going to feel that way again this week. Last week they went up against a great offense and decent defense. This week they're going against the reverse, a great defense and a decent offense. I'm taking the Ravens.
Yeah, but you know what? They played well. The Baltimore Ravens defense obviously ruled the game versus the Bengals here, but meanwhile the Browns gave Pittsburgh all it could, and it seems like that's what they've been doing for 22 years, but nonetheless, it was surprisingly good for them. Kaiser was okay, but they have no real running attack here. I expect the Ravens to just attack the line, make Kaiser throw the ball. It won't happen, and it's all Ravens in this game.
All right, Stu, a little musical interlude. Tell me who I'm singing about here. Once he was a bear, and he caught a pass, but he's hurt again, got hands of glass.
William Refrigerator Perry.
Kevin White.
Oh.
Out again. The Chicago's one of those snake bit teams when it comes to these sort of things. The Bucks are well rested. It's going to be interesting to see the effects of not playing Week 1, what that will have on Miami and Tampa Bay.
Yep.
But I'm on the pirate ship again. I always overrate these guys. I believe in the maturation of Jameis Winston, and I'm taking the Bucks.
All right. We don't know about Tampa, so I really can't comment on that team right now. Glennon was efficient for Chicago, and the Bears ran for over for over 100 yards. I still don't know what to say here, though. Do the Bears win because they already played? They were in rhythm. Tampa's rusty. They didn't play. They were facing the Hurricane. Or is everyone's prediction that the Bugs are going to be good enough to win the division this year? Going to take the 4 here. I'm not sure. No, I did hear that the game is being played in Tampa this week. Did I hear that right?
I believe so.
But I'm going to take the Bucks here at home just based on talent, not on anything else.
Vikings at Steelers, and I loved everything the Vikings did after the Saints' opening drive. Seriously loved everything I saw. We got pressure on the QB. We threw deep passes, which Bradford did not do last year. The audience is coming in.
Yeah,
so
always late.
Literally, when I was like, I said to the TV, like, are we going to chuck one deep? And he hit Thielen. So I was impressed by everything the Vikings did. Great week for Bradford, 27 of 32. What more can I say? The Steelers are going to beat us.
Yeah, I mean, the Vikings looked for real. Bradford had all day to throw it, and the new star of the NFL is Dalvin Cook.
No. The new star of the NFL is Kareem Hunt.
Nah, we'll see. I like Dalvin Cook a little better here. Thielen caught everything that was thrown his way, but the important thing was the yards after catch. This guy was zipping through cornerbacks and leaving them in the dust. surprisingly so for a white guy.
He's fast, dude. He's
Yeah.
like 4.45.
The Steelers had a challenge with the Browns, and I'm going to go with, I guess I'm calling it an upset here. I'm taking the Vikes. If the front seven can get pressure on Big Ben, I think that Vikings can win here.
We can if our O-line is for real. And
Sure.
that's
Five new
going to be
guys.
that's going to be the big question. We can if our defensive line can get pressure on him, which we did not do early on, and then the Saints had another injury on the offensive line, and all of a sudden we were monsters.
Yeah, hard to tell after that game.
I love us. I hope we win it. I'm not a full on 100% believer in the team just yet because the Steelers had 7 sacks. Let's see what the Vikings O-line can do 2 weeks in a row. I like Dalvin Cook, don't get me wrong, but I'm saying after week 1, if you don't say Kareem Hunt's the man, what can you say?
Okay.
Patriots.
See at the end of the year.
Patriots at Saints, and like I just said, the Saints' offensive line fell apart after Zach Strief hurt his knee. They're going to be going up against an angry Brady and a motivated Belichick, Patricia, Josh McDaniel with a couple extra days to plan for him and a hell of a big chip on their shoulders. So I'm taking the Patriots. I don't see a way they start the season where they were going to go undefeated at 0-2.
Yeah, the Saints secondary was terrible against the Vikings, and now you're going up against the greatest of all time, who sincerely should shred them. But Brady's passes were not that pretty last week, and I don't know if that did his age catch up with him in week 1. I seriously doubt it. Belichick's going to figure out how to beat New Orleans here pretty easily. Neither running game is effective, so it's going to come down to the arms of the 2 quarterbacks. I just trust Brady more.
There you go. Eagles at Chiefs, and this is probably the toughest game of the week. Chiefs well rested. Chiefs Kareem Hunt. Last week was the week of redemption for first round quarterbacks. First pick quarterbacks. Alex Smith had 4 touchdowns.
Bradford.
Wentz looks like the real deal. Wentz moved around well in the pocket, bought them time. This is a very tough game to pick, but Kansas City at home, a couple extra days to prepare, a couple extra days to rest. I'm going, and they beat better competition last week. I'm going with KC until proven otherwise.
Yeah, I'm a little unsure of this game too because Eric Berry is out, and he is the cog in the wheel that runs that Chiefs defense.
Good point.
Wentz did have a solid outing, but the Eagles' ground game absolutely fizzled here. And you're not going to be able to do that against the Chiefs. You're not going to be able to throw all day against them, in my opinion. Could be disastrous for Kansas City losing Berry, but I'm going to take the home team here just because they did the impossible, man. They beat the Pats at home.
In the season opener. Titans at Jags, and the question becomes, is the Jags defense for real?
They were impressive.
Is Miles Jack and Jalen Ramsey, are these going to be the guys that lead to a resurgence of the old Tom Coughlin Jags? Maybe, but this week they're going against a much tougher offensive line. I liked Tennessee last week against the Raiders. I'm sticking with them. If the Jags knock off a quick 7-8 sacks this week, I'll start buying into Saxonville. But until that happens, I'm going Titans.
Yeah, the problem with Jacksonville is their passing game, had almost as many yards as their running game, and you're not going to win a lot of games. The running game was a little less than the passing game, but not a lot. No one had an impressive day for Tennessee in that game. I mean, they looked like they hadn't been practicing, just discombobulated and everything. Mariota looked okay, not impressive. So this comes down to Calais Campbell, who had 4 sacks while the Jags totaled 9. If that's going to be the anomaly or the regular thing, that's what we're looking for and what remains to be seen here. Titans couldn't stop Lynch on any short yardage. That could kill you. They look shaky, but I can't take the Jags until I see that they're for real here. So again, just picking the home team.
All right, Cardinals at Colts. And did anybody have a worse starting week than the Cardinals? And now they've
Colts.
Well, yes. Good answer. But I was talking about David Johnson's wrist injury. I guess you could say the Colts had a worse offseason with Luck being unable to recover. And somebody asked this today, and it's a good question. If you're Andrew Luck and you're looking at that team, are you quick to get back out?
No, I've got so many injuries.
You're making sure you're 1,000%. You're like, I'm 85%, but I can go out behind that O-line.
Yeah.
I like Tolzien's Lord of the Ring books. I'm not going to lie. They're, The Hobbit, all that. Good stuff. But he's already benched. He lasted as long as Tom Savage did. They're bringing in the brisket.
Oh, really?
And it's almost unfair to Jacoby Brissett that he's going to have to try and prove himself. Like, you've been behind Garoppolo and Brady. You get your big chance, but it's with this team.
Yeah, but you know what? This is what these guys play for. This is where
Oh, God bless
You know,
them. It's better than I never got to throw. I never got to start a game.
Right.
I never got to
it's
throw
the
a touchdown.
Colts, but you're the starter,
Right.
and you better do something about it to prove that you were worthy of being on New England for those couple of years.
But you're likely to get buried by a frosty Rucker. I mean, like it's a
Don't we
frosty
all have that?
avalanche. So I'm taking the Cards.
Yeah, the Cardinals had trouble keeping up with Detroit, which was surprising. It's a whole other story. But that will change this week. Indy has nothing on either side of the ball. The Cards lost their running back. I don't know how that affects them. Duke Ellington is still there, and I forget the other guy's name. But that shouldn't mean much in this particular game. Cardinals.
Bills
My lock of the week.
There you go. Here's my log of the week. Bills at Panthers. Panthers contain McCoy and win this thing easily. What else can I say? The Panthers are a much better team, and all you have to do to beat Buffalo is just, they're shady. Get them. You know what I mean? Just target him. And the Panthers are built to do that with their linebackers and their front seven. This is an easy win at home. Carolina starts off 0-2.
Yeah, they're fast.
2-0, excuse me.
Yeah, the Bills stomped the Jets by running all over them, and I'm hoping everyone does this season, including Miami. But, where were we? I got lost in my nose here. Anyway, McCoy had a great day against the Jets, and I expect to see a lot of him in this game too. But neither had a strong opponent last week, so it's hard to judge who they are. I'm going to take the Panthers and hope that Miami wins and just gets sole possession of first place.
Jets at Raiders. Raiders help the Jets get
Speaking
a high
of the
draft.
worst teams in football.
Yeah, Raiders help the Jets get a high draft pick. Todd Bowles is looking for a new place to be a defensive coordinator, evidently. So give me Raiders easy peasy.
Yeah, I mean, the Raiders don't have the best defense in the league, but I don't see them having any problem stopping the Jets here. The Jets are going to have problems stopping Carr, Cooper, Lynch.
Jets are really going to have trouble putting points on the board,
Yep.
and they should get the ball to Jordan Leggett.
All right. Did you get that note there, Coach?
I'm telling you, he was a Clemson tight end. The kid is
You and
clutch.
Clemson. Oh, my God.
No, it's me and Leggett. I have a little man crush on Leggett. He was so
kind of shown out.
freaking clutch.
Tune in next week as Steve does Clemson.
Miami at the Chargers. I'm going to let Stu do this one.
All right. Well, having not seen Miami while they were busy, actually escaping Miami, they didn't stay there. Ross was nice enough to get everybody out for Hurricane Irma. Structure is sound. We will be playing at home, but not for another month. Anyway, the Chargers couldn't get their run game going, and if not for a timeout called by Joseph on the last seconds field goal, we would have had a tie game. So it would have been interesting to see how the Chargers fared if the game was tied and going into overtime. The Dolphins secondary is going to be tested here. I mean, Rivers in the second half was throwing the ball, throwing it nicely to pretty wide open guys. So, that could be a problem for Miami. Cutler should also have success against the Chargers DBs because Simeon had a good day against the Chargers secondary. So I'm hoping Miami runs the ball with Ajayi, only has to throw so often with Cutler until I'm comfortable with him as our starter. But I'm being the homer here, honestly, and I'm taking the Fens.
Okay. I'm going with the Chargers based on nothing more than that they played Denver a tough game, and I don't know what the Dolphins are going to be with Cutler. It's very hard to say.
Oh, but Tampa, who we haven't seen, they're going to win.
Yes, that's true. If you're going to take my non-logical logic and work it against me, that's going to be a problem. You're going to use the Stu-Fu, as we call it here. Rivers is one of those guys that, he's one of those quarterbacks that almost, prefers to get behind. You ever see a boxer that doesn't really start until he gets rocked a few times and then, oh, this is a fight? Rivers and Stafford feel that way to me. But I honestly don't think
Stafford never comes back.
Oh, he did last week.
Yeah, he did.
He actually, if you look at the numbers, he's actually got a lot of fourth quarter comebacks, and Rivers is the exact same way.
Yeah.
I don't know what Miami's defense is going to be able to do against the Chargers run game. I have no idea what their secondary is going to look like.
No one does.
I turned to Stu for that, but I'm taking the Chargers, basically a home field pick, and they played well against Denver.
All right, I'm taking my Vikings pick back.
This isn't like a tit for tat.
Oh, it is now, sonny boy.
San Francisco at Seattle. And if anybody let me down last week, it was Seattle. But the 49ers offense was anemic. And Hoyer and Hyde aren't guys that are going to scare you, and they're facing a team that held Green Bay to 17 points.
And got screwed royally on 2 huge calls. By
Yeah,
the
they
referee.
threw
2
Lane out
huge calls.
for a punch, which nobody
Nobody saw.
ever saw. What was the other call?
There was a catch that would have led to
Oh yeah,
uh,
that thing.
more offense.
And not only that, but this 12 man on the field, a guy is running off the field. He's inches away from getting off, and Aaron Rodgers goes, "Oh, the flag! I can now." It's gotten a little silly. Like
Yeah, the guy was 6 inches from the sideline and not looking back.
right when your quarterback is more famous for being able to get a 12 man on the field penalty. Like they're the master of the play clock.
Yeah.
Really?
Win
Is
some
that
Super Bowls.
is that what we're winning football games on? So I love the Seahawks defense. I don't love San Francisco's offense. Foster, who I was all raving about, got hurt. I'm not sure what his
Yeah,
status
I'm not
is
sure
right
yet
now.
either.
But the 49ers are a couple of years away. Give me the Seahawks.
Yeah, it was a high ankle sprain or something like that. Anyway, Seattle's offensive line is not good.
Not good.
Not good.
It is not good.
And the refs blew some calls here. Meanwhile, the Niners are exactly who we thought they were. I mean, we kind of knew going in that this was going to be garbage. But less than 100 yards rushing and 158 yards passing ain't going to win a lot of games for you, Seattle. But it's the Niners who can't do anything. Seattle should win this handily. But it's a divisional game. You never know. Seattle.
All right. Hardest game of the week for me, Redskins at Rams. I don't know what to make of this. Jared Goff had a great game.
Yep.
It was against weak competition.
Again.
Jared Goff may be for real. Who can tell? Todd Gurley may be for real. I keep believing in Todd Gurley.
Mhm.
The Skins, what can you say about them? They're a team that lacks identity.
They're real. I mean, Kirk Cousins, who should be a star in the league, isn't even their favorite choice to sign. I mean, it's just incredible.
And they've given him really lackluster weapons, except for Jordan Reed.
Mhm.
And gee, if I'm a defensive coordinator and you say to me, your challenge this week is to shut down a tight end, I'm feeling pretty good about myself.
Because they have no running game whatsoever.
I'm feeling like I can do that. So I am taking the Rams in this one.
Yeah, they've got nothing going for them on the running game, and they were pretty ineffective on defense. I mean, Philadelphia, who is not filled with superstars, looked like one of the best offenses in the league in years here. The Rams, meanwhile, did what they should do against Indianapolis and crush them in every facet of the game, and that's a sign of a good team. You can't just beat a bad team. They killed a bad team here. Rams couldn't get Gurley going early. But Goff had a big day, so we'll see how that plays out. Anyway,
I like Gurley early.
I still like the Rams D, and I'll take them for their home opener in Los Angeles.
All right, Cowboys at the Broncos, and this should be an obvious one from the nicknames. Cowboys ride Broncos. They bust Broncos. It's what they do. Props to Jason Witten for becoming their all-time leading wide receiver and for scoring a TD. That old guy is...
He doesn't score many TDs, and I picked him for my fantasy league, and he scored a TD.
There you go. That old guy's out there busting it.
That's right.
I have a weird love of Jamal Charles because of my win in fantasy football, and I'm hoping that Denver will figure out he's really good if you fling the ball out to him.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why they weren't doing that, but you get the ball into Jamal Charles in space, and he's like a little Darren Sproles. He's Sproleish.
It's Vance Joseph's first game. I'm sure he just won. Hey, defense, go win the game, and we'll talk about the rest of the season.
So if you've watched this show at all, you know I hate the Cowboys. It's the second home game in a row for Denver.
I'd have a note. How does it happen every fucking year they get 2 at home to start the season? Every year!
Okay.
I say it every year.
Stuart gets a little emotional.
I get emotional. Miami loses a game because of Hurricane Irma and has to go to London, so Goodell gives them a Super Bowl. I mean,
if we're doing rants, NFL.com, what the hell have you done to your website?
Everything's videos. I can't
I
even
know.
read it
I
anymore.
can't even get any freaking news out of you. It's
We're
all
old.
Cole Beasley makes a great catch.
Oh, that's his name. I had a little white.
I don't freaking care. I don't need to see him catch the ball like this. I saw it in 15 freaking highlights. I just want to know what's up with David Johnson's wrist.
It's true.
So there's rants. I like the Cowboys in this one.
Right.
What can I say?
Yeah.
I hate the team, but I like them. I like what they've done. They've got talent on all levels on both sides of the ball, and the Broncos, Trevor Siemian is a question mark every week.
Yeah, I'm going off the grid here, and I'm taking the Broncos. Simeon had a pretty good game, and of course, the Ponies get 2 straight at home to open the season, as I mentioned.
As we noticed.
The Broncos D wasn't fantastic, but they wear on you, and as the game goes on, you get tired of trying to go against their defensive line, and you really, really cannot. So I think it'll be a long day for the Broncos, but I think they have a chance. I think Elliott's going to have trouble running the ball against this team, and for some stupid reason, I'm picking the Broncos.
All right. Green Bay at the Falcons, and Green Bay was very impressive. The Falcons weren't as impressive, but
yeah, their defense really interestingly good on Sunday.
What, Green Bay?
Packers, yeah.
Yeah, no, I was very surprised by what they were able to do with Seattle on both sides of the ball. Really, I mean, they gashed him for the Jordy Nelson touchdown and that sort of thing. But Ty Montgomery doesn't impress me. I love the different levels that Atlanta can attack you at.
Yeah.
So they can run the ball, they can go deep, they can swing the ball out. They can attack you short, they can attack you up the gut, they can attack you wide,
Mm-hmm.
they can attack you short range passing, they can definitely attack you long range passing. And I think that Green Bay really benefits from home field,
Mm-hmm.
and they don't have that here. It'll be. I still think that Atlanta's going to have a little bit of a Super Bowl hangover, and I think they're suffering a little bit the effects of losing Kyle Shanahan. Like it's really hard to measure what a coordinator does for a team,
Mm-hmm.
but in this case, I think you're going to see a little decline in the offensive output for Atlanta. But I still think. You said it was surprising what Green Bay's defense did against Seattle.
Yeah.
And they need to do it 2 weeks in a row to prove to me they're for real. I watch their linebackers and I go, I'm not impressed.
Yeah, I'm not sure that they can. The Falcons weren't overly impressive last week, but they still have probably, arguably, I'll say, the best offensive talent on a team. I mean, Matt Ryan.
I'd take them.
Yeah.
Overall, I'd take them.
But they struggled against Chicago, and they really couldn't get Devontae Freeman or the other guy going, Tevin Coleman, which is shocking because no one was expecting Chicago kind of to be in the game. So you worry. Again, it's week 1, hard to tell. They won a game on the road, which they should have won, and they did. So I'll grant you that. The Packers come in better than I expected on defense, and I'm really not sure what to make of that either. So
it was the Mike Daniels show, is what it was.
Yeah, So honestly, I'm taking the Falcons here because it's home in the Dome, and honestly, they were so good last year. I can't imagine they're going to take that big a step backward. I still question the Packers' running game, and I'm taking the Falcons.
A slightly better interior offensive line slows down Mike Daniels. Falcons win.
Okay, I'm not going to argue with you.
Still getting over this cold, folks. Sorry. Lions at the Giants, and I think I picked the Giants last week, and I shouldn't have.
I did too. What an
That
idiot.
was a dumbass pick. Giants' fundamental flaws are there. I talked about them last week. O-line, linebackers, they special teams, and when they lose Odell Beckham, they got nothing.
Honestly, literally nothing happened.
Yeah.
They turned it off.
You can talk about Sterling Shepard. You can talk about Brandon Marshall, but where was he when they rotate coverage to Brandon Marshall? He's not what he once used to be. Evan Ingram, was supposed to be this playmaking tight end. It's not going to happen for the Giants if they don't improve the offensive line. Lions, I thought they were going to try and actually run the ball last week. What did Abdullah have, like 15 for 30?
Yeah.
Evidently, it's just Stafford going back and playing Madden football.
Well, if you give him that, he's going to take it. Let's face it. The Cardinals were leaving these guys wide open, and I certainly don't think the Giants' defensive backs are going to be able to cover these guys.
And it's really what he's comfortable doing. It's really what they do best. They fall behind and they chuck the damn ball 50 times.
And they struggle on the road here. It's not as easy a call as you might want it to be.
It's fairly easy for me. I'm taking the Lions.
Oh, I'm taking the Lions here, too. They've actually finally won some East Coast games in the recent past. I wouldn't have taken Detroit ever, in the 80s, 90s, or early 2000s because they don't travel well in the East Coast. But it's going to be nice and warm here next week. And literally the Giants have nothing. Their pass rush was non-existent. Nobody could cover anybody. There's no running game. What's his name? Paul Pierce?
Yeah, Paul Pierce.
I thought he was the basketball player because he did as well as a basketball player would have done here.
And I believe there used to be a Temple guy named Paul Pierce who was a running back. It always confuses me.
And how are the Giants 4-point favorites? Based on what? How are the Giants 4-point favorite? Call it a pick'em game or a 1-point game?
I agree, totally.
The 4 points that you're telling me, so the 3 that you typically get just from being a home field, and 1? Detroit.
All right, folks. That's Electric Football. That's Stu Pace.
That's Steve Brown.
And we love you.
See you next week.